All right, let's talk about something that can be, well, pretty scary. That weird, disorienting, and sometimes just awful sensation of dizziness. We're going to dig into why the answer to that spinning room feeling often lies in a place you'd probably never guess. Deep, deep inside your ear. So let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? Maybe you stood up a little too fast or turned your head, and then, whoa, suddenly the whole world feels like it's tilting or just spinning like a carousel. That sensation is called vertigo, and it can literally throw your entire world off balance.
But where in the world does that feeling come from? Now, there are a bunch of potential causes, for sure, but a very, very common culprit is a tiny, super complex system hidden away in your inner ear. It's this amazing piece of natural engineering, but when it gets out of whack, boy, it can really mess with your sense of stability. So before we can really understand what goes wrong, we first need to see how it's all supposed to work. Let's take a closer look at your body's hidden balance command center.
Okay, so deep inside each of your ears, there's this incredible little network called the vestibular system. The absolute best way to picture it, think of it like a built-in gyroscope. You know, like the one in your smartphone that always knows which way is up so it can rotate the screen? Well, this system does the exact same thing for your body 24/7.
And this system is just constantly working, doing three absolutely crucial jobs. It senses every single rotation, like when you turn your head. It detects gravity, so you always know which way is down. And then it uses all that information to send signals to your brain and your muscles to maintain your stability, keeping you perfectly balanced. It's a silent process you never even notice until, something goes wrong. Which brings us right to our next section. If the vestibular system is our balance center, what happens when things go haywire? We're about to investigate three of the most common inner ear conditions that can cause all this dizziness and vertigo. Let's meet the primary suspects.
So in our lineup, we have three main suspects: BPPV, Meniere's disease, and then a related pair called labyrinthitis and vestibular neuritis. These are all totally distinct conditions with different causes. Let's break them down one by one, starting with the most common of the bunch.
First up is the single most common cause of vertigo from an inner ear problem: benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Yeah, that's a mouthful, so we just call it BPPV. The name itself actually gives us a ton of clues about what's going on. This really gets to the heart of what BPP feels like. See, it's not a constant dizziness. It's this sudden, super intense spinning that's triggered by specific movements, like rolling over in bed or tilting your head back to look up at something. It happens because these tiny calcium crystals in your ear get knocked loose and float into a part of the ear where they don't belong, sending all these confusing signals to your brain. The episodes are pretty short, but wow, if you've had them, you know they are powerful.
Okay, our second suspect is a little different. Meniere's disease isn't just about the vertigo. It's a condition that's defined by this unique combination of symptoms that come and go in these episodes or attacks.
The thing that really defines Meniere's is that the vertigo doesn't show up alone. The attacks are sort of a package deal. They often include tinnitus, that's a ringing in the ear, hearing loss that can kind of come and go, and this very distinct feeling of pressure or fullness in your ear. When all those things show up together, that's what starts pointing towards Meniere's disease. And finally, we have our third set of culprits: labyrinthitis and vestibular neuritis. Now, these two are very closely related. Both of them are inflammations inside the inner ear system, and they're often caused by a viral infection, like a common cold or the flu. So with both of these, you can get hit with this sudden, really bad vertigo that can stick around for days. But here's the thing. There's one massive difference that helps tell them apart. Labyrinthitis affects the inner ear structure itself, and, this is the key, it comes with hearing loss. Now, vestibular neuritis, that's inflammation of the nerve connecting the ear to the brain, and it usually does not mess with your hearing. So really, that one symptom, hearing loss, is the big clue. So, after going through all these complex names and symptoms, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. But the whole goal here is to move from that feeling of confusion to a sense of clarity, and maybe even a little empowerment. Look, the point of this whole explainer isn't to turn you into a doctor or have you diagnose yourself. Not at all. It's to give you the vocabulary and the framework to understand what might be going on.
Just knowing these terms, BPPV, Meniere's, labyrinthitis, can help you have a much more productive conversation with a healthcare professional if you're ever experiencing these kinds of symptoms.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? To think that this tiny, hidden piece of our anatomy plays such a huge role in how we experience the world. So next time you feel just a little bit off balance, remember that complex little gyroscope working away silently in there. Could it be that your inner ear, the system you can't even see, actually holds the answer? That's definitely a question worth thinking about.